and we're back for another edition of Armagh Camogie Matters. I'm delighted to be joined by our current county joint captain, Kerry Devlin from the Greenmore Club, and then we have Old Faithful back with us again, Ciara Hez Murphy, so from the Tully Club. And we're going to have a chat here about all things Armagh Camogie Club and County. So we'll kick off. Kerry, I'm going to kick off with yourself, and I'm going to kick off with a big congratulations to you as the captain of the All-Ireland Premier Junior A. Bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Junior A club champions. How does it feel to be an All-Ireland club champion, and what are your big memories from last year's historic year for you?
It's very surreal. You know, you always think when you're a child that, you know, I'd love to win All Ireland with Armagh, but to actually be able to say that you won it with your club, it wasn't even a thought when you were a wee girl. When your imagination runs wild, like, you wouldn't even thought that could have been a possibility. So it's incredibly surreal, and I feel very lucky to have had such a special year in 2023 and be part of such a special group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've no doubt they had such a special captain that helped them on their way.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, on that point, like, you know, you've been on a good roll there, and you're wearing your captains. You were just captain last year for your club for the first time.
First time for
senior. And
this
is your first year you're captain this.
County. Yeah.
So there must be something with that captain's arm.
I don't think so.
Because with your club as captain, you have then brought them to club, Ulster and All-Ireland success, and now with the county you have brought us National League success recently, and then just more recently again the Ulster Championship success. So are you the magic touch, Kerry, that we've been waiting for so long at county, and no doubt your club have been waiting for as well? And you know, it couldn't just be coincidence.
No, it is. It's right place, right time. I think when you play this sport, there's controllables, and the controllables are what you do, how hard you train, how well you prepare for games, and to be the best you can be. And then there's the uncontrollables, and that's the people around you. You know, I can't control what those girls do, what they put in, and I'm just very fortunate to have been part of two very special teams, a Greenmore team that's been building for a number of years, and a fantastic group of girls who work so hard and are relentless during games, and then a newer Armagh team, but equally work incredibly hard, and some incredibly talented people. So it's definitely not down to me, because, you know, I can't be a leader for Ciara Donnelly standing in full forward. You know, she has to be able to look left and right, and she can, and that's what makes this success and why this last 12 months have been so special.
I think you're being a little bit modest there. What do you think, Ciara?
No,
I think so.
No, definitely not. No.
I think there's probably. I'd love to sit in one of your team talks.
Yeah, I think clearly the girls will tell you a few stories about those.
Did you get any bleeps?
No, definitely not. Sorry,
you're not a bleeper.
No,
team
definitely not. Definitely would never swear ever.
Well, alright, we'll take you at your word. Well, Ashley, well done. So long may the success continue for you. I'm going to ask, we're going to come a bit into the Armagh leagues here. We'll have a wee look at the Premier League. And I know, Ciara, we had a chat here not that long ago, and we were looking at that stage as there was a pattern sort of emerging, and that was only after, you know, the first couple of matches. We're only probably still in 3 or 4 matches, in fairness. And that patterns continue. You have Greenmore, Eglish and Ballymena are sort of ahead of the posse. Then you've coming in around the middle there, Dungannon, Crossplay, not a million miles away from them. And then unfortunately for Middletown, Katy and Madden seem to be a pattern. Maybe they're coming up, taking up the rear. So can you see anything happening over the next number of matches? We'll start off maybe with Ciara this time. That's going to change that pattern. Is there? You know, unfortunately, I know some of those teams are struggling with their numbers, and unless they get all their players back in, unfortunately, that pattern may be continuing.
Yeah, it probably will continue. Like, we did talk about this the last time, and I suppose we do sympathise with those teams kind of, you know, down at the bottom. Like, we know all about that from last year as well. Like, we struggled in the league, you know, with just with numbers, and it's key. Like, if you don't have your numbers, like, and you don't have your key players, you are going to struggle. But I don't think it's any surprise. Like, you have Greenmore, Eglish and Ballymena sitting at the top of the table again. You know, and then, like, to me, like, the big one is Crossmaglen. They're holding their own in there, which is highly impressive. You know, they could have come in from intermediate there and just potted along at the bottom, but they're not. They're really competing. And I think they played Ballymacnab there, was it the last game? Like, and from all accounts I heard it was. So like fair play to them. So they're definitely. But look, again, this is only league, I suppose, and you do have to look then towards championship. So it's a long time away as well. So and they'll be using that, I suppose, to even blood their kind of the young players as well. But yeah, it's no real surprise where the top three are sitting like.
It's about like when you mentioned Crossmaglen there, you can imagine, and I should have probably mentioned when we were chatting about the game more success, because unfortunately, Crossmaglen had a fabulous year last year, but just sort of failed the final hurdle. And there's maybe a wee bit of pointing to prove there that perhaps they have done so well last year, and they want to come up and just show the senior clubs. We're here, we're not to make up the numbers.
Yeah, well, they're a super talented team. Like you don't get to an All-Ireland final without being an excellent team. And I watched them last year, and I was so impressed with them in the county final. And I'm not surprised at where they're sitting. And when they get their county players back and Laura McConville back from lady football duties, like they'll be hard to talk to. Like come championship time, like I'd be very anxious coming to meet Cross, in the championship. And like we played Middletown last week, and I was really impressed. I thought they were really strong, and I think we could see a wee bit of movement there, but it's very difficult because we should have, I think, 7 games played, and like the likes of ourselves only played 3. So it's hard to gauge where we're at even, and where other teams are at as well, and that's just the way this year has kind of went.
Yeah, so you would more or less, it's hard. I'm asking, is anything going to change? We really don't know, I suppose, because it's still too early in the league. But you're right, I know, I've seen the Middletown Ballymacnab match, and the skill of Middletown, it was only in the last 5 minutes that Ballymacnab pulled away. Middletown were superb. So I suppose, it might look as if they're taking up the bottom of the, they're there, but there's not a million miles between them.
I think with the way the leagues have been restructured, it's so important. I don't even think anyone's really intent on winning the league. It's just stay up. Keep yourself safe, because you don't want to go down, because it's so hard once you go down to come back out. And like I remember when I first came on to Graham many years ago now, and like we were bottom of the league that year, and we had to ask permission to stay in Division 1, and the only reason we got permission was because another team requested to go down. And it platformed us then from then on. But once you go down, it's very difficult to come back out of that division. So everyone's just fighting so hard to stay up.
Yeah. And in terms of, if you look at the underage, if you analyse the underage performances of the likes, Katie have some really good underage, but they're still even younger again, at maybe under 14. If you look at Middletown, they had a great B16 team last year. Who's the other team I mentioned there? And Madden, under 16. It might take them a few years, So do you see any of those 3 great clubs with great histories in Armagh Senior Championship, and have been there? Unfortunately, Middletown's the only of the 3 that hasn't actually managed to win a senior championship yet. Do you see it's going to be a bit of a while before they're back competing at that senior championship? Are those bigger teams still just a wee bit too far out ahead of them?
I think it's.
And if I was to say to you, if you think the answer is yes, are you saying right, in 6 years you'll probably see them back up there?
I think it's peaks and valleys. Like every club goes through peaks, and then eventually a valley will come. Depends. It can be 5 years, it could be 1 year, it could be 2. You just don't know. And the youth is critical for that. But I know Madden have an excellent youth coming through. But yeah, it's going to take a while, because yes, they might be ready they might be playing senior next year, but you're not really ready for another couple of years after that. And it's just getting that golden team, that team that's really competing for championships. It's so many factors, and part of that is experience. You need your experienced players, your older players, but then you do need that injection of youth as well. So yeah, it's a hard one, but underage is key to everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. Carrie's right. Yeah, it is. It does take a wee while, because by the time you blood them into senior and they get that experience, it's a massive step up, playing, at underage and winning championships, and then you stepping up into playing senior championship. It's huge. So it will take them a couple of years, I'd say. But they need to be they're doing great work at underage, so that's key. And as Carrie said, whenever you give clubs there, there'll be a time where Graham will. There'll be the same with Ballymacnab. It all depends too on pregnancies as well. People going away. All these big things. Contribute. So it will. Yeah. It's if they're just thereabouts. And as you say, fighting, scrapping to stay up.
Oh,
That's what it's all about, you know. And the time will come again. I think that senior championship's going to be very competitive this year too.
Absolutely.
So.
Very good. We'll move on maybe to your own division with Tullysarn that you guys are in there. Ciara, Tullysarn, Derry News, Portmore, sitting there and very close. You've been unbeaten. Tullysarn's been unbeaten, and I think Cullyhanna is the other one has been unbeaten. Sitting very nicely at the top there. So are you just sitting there with a nice wee smile? You're not going to say too much?
No, not going to say too much. No, we're sitting there at the top, but we're very lucky at the same time. The games have been very tight. Now we played St Bridget's there a couple of games ago, and like it could have went either way. Like we just pulled away at the end.
Which is strange because on the league table St Bridget's are well down. So
so and then they had Derry Lahan last Wednesday as well, and we won that by a point. So it's just plays on the edge. That again, that league is quite competitive. Same with Portmore. We haven't played Derry News shit. We've Collaville on Sunday. So it all depends who you put out. It all depends who's available on the night. Like if we have big players missing, we struggle. You know, and it's the same for the other teams. If they have players missing, their players injured, they struggle too. So yes, we're sitting at the top, but that could very quickly flip on its head, and we're very aware of that. You know, any team there could take you at any time. Cullyhanna is very quietly just creeping up the table too. I've noticed them just nicely coming up. So they're definitely one that we're talking about underage there a minute ago. Like they had a serious underage. They've done serious work, and it's starting to come in now. So we haven't played them yet, so that'll be a very interesting one. Yeah,
and then when it comes championship time, you're going to have Middletown in the mix there too. So it's going to be a really. I said this like from day one. I'm like the experience you gain from playing in that Premier League and dropping down into intermediate championships huge. And like you're saying, like you are so impressed with them. So they're definitely the ones. Like they're definitely the ones to watch. Like coming down. Yeah.
And like the way the structure of that new Division 2 league, that it creates your seeding for your championship. That just makes it even more competitive, more important, and it's nearly like every game yours like a championship game.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
And that's intense, like for a full year. So. I'm interested to see how that division goes.
That's a good point you make, because you were saying earlier the Premier is you stay up and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's
so
different
enough for you.
Well, every game matters. Like that's what we do. Yeah. Like that's the mindset that we have, is that every game's a championship game. It's a must-win game. And I think like it just went white to the wire like last Wednesday night. Like just kind of tipped either way. So it was just these small margins like all make the difference, and you could very easily jump. Like I was looking at the table there the other night, and you could jump from first, and very suddenly you could be in fourth position. Because everybody's so close, and there's a couple of teams haven't played as many games as us. So so it'll all.
And then it's harsh on like the likes of the junior champions last year, not automatically getting seeded into intermediate. Like when went and won their junior championship. Should they have been given the opportunity to play the intermediate championship? St Bridget's obviously, who obviously are down on the lower end of the league. Maybe they'll pull through now in the next number of games and get up into that second seeding. But if they don't, then they're back playing junior championship again. So that's harsh too. Like it is a harsh.
Well, there's probably two sides to that, because I'm sure St Bridget's enjoyed their wee foray into Ulster last year.
Yeah, that's right.
So I suppose the upside of them is if we're not strong enough yet for intermediate championship,
it can maybe
build again in junior.
Yeah, so that's true too.
They're definitely more than capable. Like I said, we played them and there's only I think 5 or 6 points in it, and they were right there to the wire, like to the last 10 minutes.
Right.
So they're definitely more than capable. Like
another team with great youth, great underage, consistently winning. Division 1s, like, so you could see hopefully if they retain those girls, you could see them starting to progress as well.
I was going to ask for Ciara there, particularly given the fact that you're more familiar with those teams in that Division 1, like where are the banana skins, who's going to throw the banana skins out and who's going to slip on them? They're probably all throwing banana skins out for everybody else, and there's no.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, like it just every game you don't know who you're coming up against. You don't know what you're getting, and like you don't know who you have available as your own club as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see who the top whatever it is 5 or 6 move into that intermediate championship. It's going to be very tight. Like every single game we played is always like 4, 5, 3, 2, 1 point. Like there's nothing in it. There's a couple of goals in it. And then say with Middletown through down there too. So you'll be looking to avoid them.
Fun and games. Well, you sort of touched on it. You just you don't know who you're going to have in any particular day. So it sort of leads me into my next question very nicely, which is I'm sure it's a debate that lots of people will be having around in our sport here in Armagh, in Camogie. It's been around there for football. I'm not sure what way the ladies work it in terms of club games, county games, but I know, and the three clubs here will no doubt have experience where you're playing. You maybe not get to play games because you've no county players, or you're playing games without your county players. So in 1 week, out another week, all of that type. Where this, where county play has been withdrawn from club duty. So it's obviously having a knock-on effect on games and whatever. What you're thinking, what's your honest thinking on that? Should we be moving to the way the men's game plays? You just county players in county season is county only, and club games just go ahead. No cancellations, just play away and take it or leave it.
It is a hard one because men have so much more depth in their squads that allow them. I think there needs to be a happy medium somewhere in that, right, you're maybe the girls who aren't going to feature, the county management aren't going to feature because you carry a squad of 30, 34, whatever, maybe they should be able to be released to their club games so they get game time, which will help benefit them then in pushing on for county. I think, with injuries, with the level that we're training at, like now that we're moving into Division 2 for county, like I would hope next year that the training's up, like it's at a very high standard, but our management have to accommodate girls playing club as well. So I would like to see that move up another level. Like I know we have a lady, Karina Doyle's playing county ladies football this year. Like she does not play for us. Like during the county season, they got released for a couple of weeks after their national league, but then that was it. That was done.
But is that right? Is that good?
Well, if you agree to play that elite tier of Camogie, you have to look after yourself. Like it's wrecking your body, and this is why we're seeing such a high prevalence of injuries. And like I look at the young girls in our club, they're playing school camogie, school football, county camogie, club under 16, club under 18, club senior ladies football. It's crazy. Like I think a girl in our club maybe did like 3 sessions in one day, like it's insane. And like now we're seeing in our club 16-year-olds doing their cruciates. That's the sin. Like that should not happen, and we need to protect these players. But I know it is hard.
How do you do it? If they want to do everything, how do you do it?
I know. Well, it has to come from. It has to be encouraged from club management. It has to be collaborative. It has to come from county board, county management, and club management. And it is a matter of maybe county management sitting down with club managers and having that open discussion and coming to a resolution. I can't see a hard black line of county players are going to never not play during the county season with their club. But there has to be some kind of happy medium, and maybe it is that if you're not going to feature at the weekend of a county game, you're released to play your club games, or something. Or
well, I suppose no matter how you do it, clubs are going to feel it's unfair because
But then if everyone is disadvantaged equally, if it's for if we are equally not having our county players as Ballymena aren't having their county players, then. It's tricky.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Ciara, you're dying to get.
No, not at all. No, I agree with Carrie. It is a tough one. It's very difficult to, like the men don't be released, and that's they're playing at a high level and they're protected. Whereas like we're crying out for women to be treated like men. And then we're not protecting them. So like we're seeing serious injuries coming along. We're overtraining them. They're now training at an extremely high level. Like even like if you look, like the Camogues are training at an extremely high level this year, but then the ladies footballers in Armagh are like on another they're in another dimension. Like I seen a week of their sessions there. Somebody had showed me it, and it was crazy. It was like a man session, but they do not get released, because they're like their mindset is that we train enough. We are playing at that top level, so when they be released back into their clubs, as you say, even for that 2-week break, they're head and shoulders above everybody else because they're fit enough. You could play the Premier League without the county players, but you can't do the Division 1 because it goes this year towards the championship. So then that would have to be rejigged. I 100% am behind county management saying the girls can't play before their county games.
It's just there's so many games and so few days.
Yeah.
That's it. And
I can see where you're coming from, and I'm sure
and maybe
Armagh fixtures committee work. I'm sure extremely hard to fix all these dates in, but the same token, I know what you're saying.
And maybe it is not do a return fixture, like maybe just do one set of just one game.
The downside of that is then you're given club game. That means you as a county player could maybe play in the course of a year 20 games.
Yeah.
Your club player gets 6 games. So
yeah.
She's played the same registration fee as yourself. So
that's so
it's
true.
just getting the balance, the best balance.
Yes, that's
for both
it.
clubs
Yeah.
and county.
And I don't think you can fault people for trying. This is new, and this is Camogie developing in a new way. This level of professionalism that we're working towards, and it's not easy. But I think it just needs a little more thought process, a little more collaborative working together, and with players, with the people who are going through it. I think it could be collaborative with clubs, county, and the players that are involved, and you could get somewhere some sort of solution.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what that solution is.
Yeah.
There's 2 new fixture committee people. That's great.
definitely not.
We're going well here. Right, we're going to chat about county here. We'll start off with our county minors. Terrific wee squad we had this year, and under great management team there of Paul Monaghan and Ned McCann and Geraldine Quinn. Got to the All-Ireland final against Kildare and give them a damn good run for their money, and just fell away from them at the end. So I suppose one is to recognise them, congratulate them for doing so well, and commiserate. Any thoughts? And some of them are, you'll know these players from your own clubs, no doubt, and coming up into the seniors. So is there anything you feel could have got us over the line? Or Kildare were definitely very strong in the day. They were a real hurling county. So is this nothing?
Yeah, no, we had said before that we thought that we that under 18 team was super wee team coming up, and it's huge then for the seniors, feeding into the seniors. And I know some of them have been called up, which is great.
Yeah.
Suppose I had watched them all, and I did watch the final as well. And remember, I did kind of say that I suppose they'd hammered everybody kind of in the lead up. And I don't know, you don't know on the day what, I just think Armagh definitely could have won it on the day. They were so unlucky, and I was so disappointed for them. But I suppose maybe it was the factor that maybe they'd hammered everybody.
Yeah.
And they weren't used to that tit for tat, score for score challenge. And Kildare came at them, and maybe they didn't have that experience of that. I don't know.
And there was also possibly, because I think from memory there was a couple of them that were the dual players and maybe had played the day before as well. And maybe that
see
kicked
that
in
again.
too.
Yeah,
Tiredness
absolutely.
kicked in. So
And
goes
as
back.
we move towards integration, that's something that really has to be looked at, because there is a high proportion of females that are dual players that play ladies football and camogie, and this thing of not working together needs to change between the two codes. They have to start working together to protect girls, because I know for ourselves last year, we went and played Lockheed first round of Ulster up in Lockheed on a Saturday, and then 24 hours later 12 girls lined out against Castleblaney. Now there was ample opportunity to change those games and change that situation, but it didn't happen because our codes aren't working together, and I think that's key. And it wasn't fair on those under 18 years, playing in an All-Ireland final and then having to play the day before as well for ladies football. And it's not fair to make them choose either. They should be able to do both if that's what they want to do. And I think that was a big factor as well, because there was girls carrying injuries and you could see it on the pitch as well. But they were desperately unlucky, and such a talented team. I remember watching them down the athletic grounds. I was blown away by the skills on show and their style of play. So I'm really looking forward to some of those girls coming up in the future as well to the senior squad. I think they'll add a lot of value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking about the seniors, you're kicking off this Saturday, I believe. Yeah. You're taking on Tyrone in your first round of the All-Ireland Championship run. You're in there. You have Tyrone, you have Tip, you have Wicklow, and Down.
Yeah.
So What's the tips probably on paper? The
Yeah,
big one there, are they?
Yeah, I think.
Although I wouldn't underestimate any of the others.
No,
either, so.
I definitely wouldn't underestimate Tyrone. They're going really well. They've been really dominant. They won their league, obviously, and they were really dominant. And then they also won the Ulster, the division below. So they've been doing really steady work. I think year on year they're getting better and better and better. So, and then we have a few missing this weekend as well. So, yeah, it's definitely one to be wary of. With regards to Tipperary, I don't know much about them, but what I've heard is they're training with their senior team, which instantly,
Which
you
is a
know,
big help.
pushes you on. I think they have a very, very talented team, and yeah, it'd be good to play them in a round robin stage first, and then the flip side of that, the other side of the championship is very competitive, and you know, it's we're under no illusions. It's not going to be easy, this championship. It was a massive for us to win the league, but you know, you get a bit greedy. You want to win another one, and you know, we're training really hard and we're really focused. But yeah, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, look, because I know on the other side there's Laois, who you just we can have a wee quick chat if you want about the National League. That was a humdinger of a game.
Yeah.
1 point.
Yeah, I thought I let it slip for us at the end and there when the goal went in, but the girls, I think, epitomises this team, just so resilient. Dug in, like puck out, can't remember who got it, slotted over the bar, then who else would you want starting over a dead ball but Rachel Murray? Time and time again she's done it, slots it over. I knew as soon as we got the free I knew she'd score it. And I think that just epitomises this team. They're so resilient, they're so hard working, and they never give up, and that's what got us over the line against Laois. And
it shows that obviously, you know, how the closeness, because you have Laois ahead in the championship and Cavan, who are always a really tight game.
Yeah,
that's if you get out of our group.
Exactly,
you know, I don't want to
exactly.
jump in the gun here. Like so,
Yeah.
you know, I think the main thing is it's by no means an easy championship to win.
No, absolutely not. And you know, you always have that team coming down from Division 2 who are so strong, and then because your league's split now, where your second string teams aren't competing in your league, you don't get to see them really until the championship. So it's a bit of the unknown as well. So without doubt, tough road ahead now in the next couple of months.
Is it Limerick come down then this year? Is it or?
Laois would have came down.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're the first, but yeah, so Limerick would have been in the that other league, the 3B league.
Right. Okay.
They'll also be very, very strong. We played Limerick last year, and they were very, very good. Very good.
So is it the K Mills Cup still a long distance away? We're only starting the journey here now, but there's certainly, it's not a guarantee at the end that that's going to be there for you to lift up.
No, absolutely
Lady
not.
with Midas touch.
Well, no, no, absolutely not. And it's just how hard we're willing to work now in the next couple of months, and keeping everyone injury free and keeping everyone right, and that's what it's all about coming into these months. And you know, fingers crossed.
Very good. And Kia, the last time you were here with us, you had your sister Emer, and I think she was really getting herself back into county duty again, because she'd done her travelling around the world. So any in-house secrets coming out? How's she getting on?
No, she's like closed book, never speaks. No, I just think there's a real buzz about the senior team this year. Like, I haven't really missed too many games and try to make as many as I can. And even like, I know they hammered Antrim in the Ulster final, but you flip to last year in the Ulster final, like, he's let Antrim come back at you in the second half, whereas this year they pushed on. There's just a different kind of drive in them, and they're ruthless this year, and I like that about them. I think that's what it's going to take. It's a massive group to get out of, like it is. But sure, that's what you want to be competing against. You know, it's going to sort the women from the girls talk about. So I think they can go all the way. I think they've done a nice blend of of players in that team, and I think like the management team is starting to get that right. You know, everybody in their right positions is just coming together nicely. Like, and I was so impressed with some of the players in that Ulster final against Antrim. Like, you know, Jane got player of the match, and she was, at one stage, she was just kind of in the second half, she was right in front of me, like, and she was pulling all the strings in that forward line. Like, I see, to have that experience, like, you can't, like, she's just fantastic. Like,
she's a treat to watch it.
An absolute treat. She was just keeping everybody right, as well as picking off scores left, right and centre, you know, and you can't beat that, like, and I think she's just coming into her own again, you know. I think it took her a wee while to settle into Armagh, which is fair enough, you know, but I think she's coming into her own. And then you've, like, some of the minor players too, like they could slot in there very nicely too.
Absolutely.
So no, I think Armagh's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah.
You've sort of maybe answered one of my final questions. Going to ask, you know, on this campaign, where on who and where is it going to rise or fall? So you've mentioned the likes of Jen Curry. So if Jen has a good year at Armagh, I'm sure we'll have a good year. Yeah.
Do you know, we lost a lot of talent last year, just girls going travelling and different things. But then what we've gained as well has been, and this girl's sister in particular, she's been outstanding. And Emer coming back and taking 6 has allowed Shelley to move out to the wing, and she's been absolutely brilliant in that wing half position. She really, she's been fantastic. And then you have the likes of Emer O'Kane back as well, who's such a warrior. She works so hard as well. And then what I think one of our biggest revelations was moving Gemma McCann into full back.
100%.
She's been
so
one of the best players this year. So I think management have really, in the last couple of months, have really got it right. Particularly against Laois, I thought they were spot on. It's just, again, coming into championship, it's keeping all those girls right and keeping them fit, and hopefully we'll give it a good rattle.
So one of well, it could be our last question tonight, depending on how you've answered this here, Jerry. It says, what makes you think that this will be our year, apart from the fact that you're the lucky charm captain?
No, I think just if these girls work hard, do you know, on paper we might come across teams that are more talented, like more skillful, but what I say to the girl is, like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's it. If we work hard, if we communicate with each other and work together, you could beat anyone, like, you know, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I think would get us over the line.
And you have Sean Hughes, Rona McWilliams and Pat O'Halloran.
Oh yeah, great bunch.
A really good mix there.
Yeah,
you know, they all bring different.
Yeah, they bring very different things
to the table.
But yeah, I've a lot of respect for our management team. I think they're doing a super job this year. And it's been tough because we've had a lot of setbacks, like lack of access to pitches is the main one that comes to mind, and that's been really hard, you know, like having to train in like halls and like gravel car parks, you know, and it's not anyone's fault. Like, the pitches were in terrible condition, like no pitches were open, and that's why I'm hoping the Centre of Excellence coming will like help push us on as well. But they just take it all in their stride, and it's just like, well, this is what it is and this is what we're going to do, and I think that rubs off on the players then too, because we're just like, well, we just get on with it. Yeah, there's no point in complaining. But I suppose you can't mention the management team without mentioning probably our own Mary McBride and Paula Donnelly, who's in there as well. So I'm sure they play their role there in some shape or form. Looking after us. Yes, they're 2 great women. So selfless volunteers, it's what makes the Camogie Association great, and the girls are very grateful for them 2 women and everything they do for us. And you know, it's how they keep the team ticking. You know, you turn up and your jerseys are sitting there. There's food and there's drinks and there's all this sitting out ready for you, and you know, sometimes you don't even think about it, but you know, these are the women, and you're handed your team sheet, you know, these are the women that sort all this stuff. So we're very grateful for
all
the likes
behind
of those
the scenes,
women,
which is so valuable. Okay. Well, listen, folks, I've enjoyed having the chat with you. It's been lovely having you with us.
Thank you.
Carrie, it's your first time with us here. Maybe you'll come back the next time, and maybe you'll bring your mum with you. Okay.
Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hopefully. Here, thank you until our next get together. And thanks for everybody for watching. Throw in any ideas, throw in your comments, and let us know how we're doing. Or if you want to get on board, give us a shout and tell us you're up for being in behind this table with me and Ciara. Thanks to the man behind the camera again, John Murray, and until the next time, Armagh Camogie.